Alright, so the way we have it set up, it is Deventures of the Fourth Era. Oh, hi, Farkas. You gonna get up on the cat tree? I was just debating whether or not I was gonna turn cat cam off. Wait for it. There we go. Let's do a zoom in. Kitty cam stays with us. And I'm not sure the world is ready for multiple Farkases. That is something I think that is beyond all of us. Oh, come on. How is this thing flipped? I clicked the right button to begin with. Sometimes when I click the correct button, it just goes, like I say, go left, and it's like, alright, all of the way right. And I'm like, no, that's not what I said. And then it'll start ticking left. The webcam control is a little finicky. Alright. So. Oh, I'm supposed to have a DM's guide open. Let's hope this is on the right monitor. Cool. If we're on the wrong monitor, you guys would have got to see the entirety of everything for today. But it wasn't. It was on the correct monitor. Well, no, the right monitor, because I'm using the left monitor here for the foaming flask. So, getting started, I had basic sessions and dialogue for Flavius regarding Aisha. So we will get to that when Aisha arrives. But until then, Flavius meets you all in the dark underbelly of the Foaming Flask Inn. He had chased down the reports you guys had given regarding who was getting the texts and the info that Fatius, the Thieves Guild, Guildmaster? Yeah, the Guildmaster of the Thieves Guild had given you. As such, this is the mission report he has for you. The magical texts were indeed traced back to the Arcane University. Your guys' goal for today is to determine who needed the texts and why, gathering evidence if possible. What you guys have for known info is that vampires have been seen about cleaning up the texts of the trail of the texts. So killing off the fortress itself was wiped out, then the delivery, or the person who was doing the middleman, Fatius, was ambushed and they attempted to take him and then ultimately you guys out of the picture. You guys discovered that the Thieves Guild was unknowingly trafficking these texts to the Arcane University for profit. You guys know that there is an opening for an Archmage at the Arcane University. Your goal being to infiltrate the university and gain as much information as possible. Hey, Stefan. Nice seeing you here today. Or just getting a snick snack. Hey, Dragonborn. You were one of the people we figured was going to show up here soon. Hope your job went well today. Wasn't too crazy or too hot. Just got out of work. Yeah, this was a little crazier than usual. Are there any questions you guys had for Flavius while you guys are here? He, of course, says that payment, as usual, will be offered. And yes, it was hot. Why don't they ever let you guys do electrical work in an air-conditioned building? That'd be pretty sweet. No questions for Flavius? Well, then we will move on. You guys travel through the Imperial City, off into one of the alcoves, and you come upon the Arcane University, the gates of which are barred shut. The guards there are under the employ of the guild. Upon your arrival, they turn to you. Can we help you, mercenaries? Go ahead and ask Bimley. I like answering questions. Well, depending on the question. You could ask a bad question. What question could you ask? You could ask if you could follow Maroon's Dagon. The answer is no. Do we have any ingredients? If so, may I create potions? Yes, you guys have 5 ingredients from your previous adventure. You are welcome to create potions. At your leisure. Back to the guards. Greeting, mercenaries. How can we be of assistance? Copy. Paste. Got it, Pimley. Can't mute Facebook, so I've got a delayed chat in a live Discord chat. Glorious. The Bosmer, Jirta, is the first one to speak up. Greetings, diligent guards. May we be granted entrance to the university? They immediately follow up. You may, on condition that we know why you are here. To which, Zolf the Altmer speaks up. We wish to gain knowledge from the guild regarding some magical texts that we have located. You see the guard just kind of pull up a notebook, just kind of scrawl out a note, and then they hand you a pass that will give you access up into the library. And the gates are swung open for you to enter. Upon entering the guild, you guys pass up the first layer. The passes allowing the guards at the entrance to look and see that you've been provided entry. And you guys enter in. As you guys are just kind of absent-mindedly beginning to look at text, to just peek into display cases to see what is present, you guys are greeted by Raminus Polus. Greetings. It's good to see that, well, after verifying your pass, it's good to see mercenaries inquiring of the arcane arts. How can I be of assistance? I am Archmage of the Council. For reference, there could be multiple... The way I am treating this is there could be multiple Archmages under the new organization. I do not know if that is 100% accurate, but that's the way I'm choosing to go with it. Yeah, but they had the council, so they're a little different. Hello, Reminus. Kindly show us where we can locate information on vampires. And we'll show him one of the texts that we have. So you guys don't have any texts, specifically. Flavius has not provided you with them. As for vampires, he kind of just gestures over to one of the shelves where there's basic books that would go through the history of how they were created, and it discusses the various clans. He admits their own archives may be lacking, but it is typically not the guild's interest to research into vampirism, as they classify it more of a divine Daedric curse rather than a magical phenomena. Allowing you guys to peruse books as you see fit, he gives you a period of time. Returning to his desk as he begins studying, a couple mages of lower ranks will come in and he'll assist them in finding books from different shelves. So after some period of coming time, there is some discussion among the party, and we have Zolf, we have, I'm getting the names, Metals of the Argonian, and Walks in Darkness, the other Argonian, approach, and do you have any information on Hermaeus Mora or various Daedric rituals, ancient rituals? At this, Ramus just kind of leans back in his chair and just kind of begins eyeing you up and down. We have that information here, though it's under lock and key, and you'll understand, given the Oblivion Crisis, how guarded we can be about this information. Why are you curious? We are an Arcanium focused on magic rather than Daedric cults. And if you're worried about there being Daedric cultists, I assure you, the cult of Molag Bal was long purged from here. I'll not insult you by trying to charm you. We have evidence that there may be Daedric activity going on. Well, it is only 20 years after the Oblivion Crisis. All of the rats have yet to die or be murdered. There's no surprise that there might be Daedric activity. I question why you believe this would involve the guild. He seems to be getting incredibly defensive at your guys' insinuation that the guild may yet again be involved in Daedric activity. A reminder of history is that the guild assisted heavily with the necromancers during the Oblivion timeline. Go ahead and roll up stealth, Renus. Rolls D8, rolls 6. Gotta get my dice out. I have them here, but I had them put away because otherwise the cats run off with them. Well, specifically Urist. Specifically Urist runs away. Speech check, go for it, Jamin. You roll against Renus's stealth check. Rolled a 6. What's your stealth bonus? Let me switch over to the character sheet so I have the full bonuses. Sneak, you have a +2. Got it. Go ahead, Stefan. You can also roll a speech check. I'll join the speech of my grand... Yes, you guys are all there conversing and you're bouncing arguments off each other. I have a speech of 3. What is that dice? Let's check. So it's going to be under skills explained. And that's going to be a D10. Alright, so with your guys' Jirta, you are... No one appears to be paying attention to you. We will get back to you. As you guys begin to push him and just kind of say that you don't want him to be responsible if the guild were to have Daedric worshippers slip under their detection once again. He completely opens up. He says that yes, there is a position open for Archmagister, and there have been two candidates, a expert in destruction and an expert in alteration, that have been vying for the goal. As far as he is aware, there has been an influx of Daedric texts, but most of them have been part of the guild's ongoing attempt to sequester that knowledge away and remove that which was spread widely after the crisis. Part of their ongoing protection. He is not aware, and you guys are able to judge him to be honest in this statement. He is not aware of any ongoing Daedric activity or any agreements that they would have with Daedric cults. Meanwhile, Jirta, your Bosmer, has kind of set up around one of the corners alongside a bookshelf, visible if you were to look for him, but also you'd need to look for him as he's relatively well concealed. Listening to the various attendants coming in or out, you are able to hear a general vibe between conversations between apprentices that apparently the alteration mage has made a breakthrough and is likely to be promoted to Archmagister within the coming days. Specifically, his breakthrough revolves around the essence of life. Is there any suspicion about the university among the students themselves regarding Daedric worship? If there are any suspicions, no one has brought anything to him. And he remarks that he would be the appropriate authority to bring it to. Though it is possible that somebody had conversed with one of the masters, though again, the onus would have been on them to report it to him. He goes into a lengthy lecture about how summoning has been restricted and how they are now only able to conjure basic Daedra and are not doing advanced summoning or broad summoning to bring intelligent Daedra into Nirn, i.e. the reforms that gave us Skyrim. If you have further curiosity, he would advise you to speak with the masters themselves, as he's afraid he's done all he can to assist you. If you give him a way to contact you, he is more than willing to let you know if he hears of anything. Metal speaks up. I feel as though the one studying here at the university will have the information we can use. Are any of them pliable? At which point, let's switch back over. Ravenous kind of stiffens up and says that you are not authorized to interfere with the students. You guys are welcome to speak with the masters, the teachers, but he won't have you guys spreading rumors of Daedric activity among the students. He works hard to quell such discussion as it is. He gives you directions and kind of grabs your pass and makes a couple more notes on it that would give you access to the master's halls? Places of study? Workshops? I don't know what they're actually called. Classrooms? He gives you access to get to where the masters are located. And the first one that you will arrive at is Cralius Divindus. As you guys enter into his office, you can see that there's texts just haphazardly strewn across his office. His desk, though, is mostly clean, and at the center of it are 3 books that appear to just be freshly made leather-bound tomes. There's a general air of excitement about him. Just kind of observe Ravenous, see if he starts doing anything suspicious after the party leaves. After the party leaves, he simply sits down and returns to his work. You'll see him occasionally pull a couple of books and just kind of look through and make some notes, but it doesn't appear that he's contacting anyone or is taking any action based on the information he has received. So upon entering, Cralius, who appeared to be writing in one of the 3 tomes, looks up and sees you and hastily just kind of gathers the books and sets them into a drawer, which he then carefully closes. Then you hear the click of a lock. Hello, Cralius. We have just spoken with Ramius. He has suggested that we come see you regarding some sensitive information. May we gather in private? He nods, and a couple of the apprentices that you would see, well, advanced apprentices, in the corner, he just kind of nods to them, and they gather up some of the texts and scrolls they're going through. Appears to be translating Daedric texts, and they head out. As they are heading out, the Bosmer Jirta walks in and the door is shut behind him. He sits back, looks you up and down. So, the Archmage of the Council believes we can have a discussion, or should have a discussion. Fine, you distract my work, but I will entertain you. What is it that you would like? We have regretfully seen evidence of Daedric activity within the lands, Metals says. Very recently, we have come to ask if the university has noticed anything of the like. He just waves his hand, dismissing you. Daedric activity, that is conjurer's work. I am an alteration expert, and there are no conjuration I am an alteration master, and there are no conjuration masters currently present. I assure you, if we had a conjuration master, they would be responsible. Unfortunately, you see a little glint in his eye. They all disappeared during the crisis. With all due respect, do you believe that anything could get past you unnoticed? He kind of chuckles. I am quite certain, as I have been working on my masterpiece, and my masterpiece is exactly what we would need to stamp out any Daedric rituals happening in secret. You see a self-satisfied smile just kind of set across his face. Is there anyone knowledge in Daedric rituals that we can speak to? Sadly, who you needed to speak to died 20 years ago. Hannibal Traven was the foremost expert in soul gems and Archmage. We have not seen the likes of him since. It is my hope to replace him here, and I will be seeking to increase my knowledge along those lines, such that I might be a shadow of his former self. It should not be too difficult to observe the misguided notions of Countess gathering in secret. Secret gatherings are but the most obvious. He waves his hand at you and says, You fail to understand. It is not mine eyes that see the gatherings. With his hand, he kind of pulls it up and then uses it. You see him power up a conjuration spell, and a mud crab kind of just starts skittering around in a circle that he had set up for conjuring. You see this mud crab here. It's not a mud crab, but the mud crab's soul. Then he conjures up another spell and then lets it off, at which you guys can kind of see that subtly there's a faint glow around all present in the room, except for the mud crab. That is detect life. I have opted to allow you guys to be able to see its effect. You will note that the mud crab is not seen. He dispels the mud crab and puts a flame atronach in the circle. He repeats the spell and says, Yet again we see that the Daedra does not appear with detect life. What you fail to see is that this is how they're able to summon things and do their rituals in secret. To which point he powers up a larger spell using both of his hands, at which point he uses a spell and you will see that the Daedra begins to light up. I have discovered the essence of life, the essence of sentience, if it will, and it allows us to do a far better job at detecting Daedra. If there were a ritual here, my work on the spell would have revealed it to me. I assure you there are no Daedra present save for those effectively summoned by the conjuration apprentices. So, Rennis walks over to Metals and has whispered into the Argonian's ear that they overheard that the Alteration Master, Cralius, who you're speaking with, has apparently made breakthroughs in his spell work and has been tapped to likely succeed as the Archmage of the college. You've been most helpful. Is there anyone with knowledge on ancient Daedric rituals we could consult. We believe there may be a plot afoot. Crowleus again just kind of looks at you as he would a child. You are in the Imperial City. Everyone is doing a plot. But I will humor you. No, there is no one here expert in a Daedric rituals. There are no masters in conjuration. I am likely the best you are going to be able to talk to, though my conjuration is expert level at best. You continue to allege a plot, and I assure you, the plots that take place here are strictly for the advancement of academia. Unless you have additional info about why these plots would be harmful to anyone, I advise you to leave what's under the surface there and leave. Thank you, Crowleus. Your confidence is high and should instill confidence. I do caution you not to be foolhardy. The Arcane University could be in danger should you become too lax. As you were saying this, there could always be the possibility of a disguised plot. Crowleus is, as you guys continue to talk on, his demeanor just kind of changes as if he's mulling over some information. At which point he kind of just sits down and then in a low voice, "It's clear you know something. What do you know?" "Greetings, Kim. A wild Katya has appeared. We will discuss, however, we will trade information. Agreed?" Crowleus says, "Agreed. However, my information is known, yours is as of yet assumed. What do you know?" "Oh, since a boss fought suit, I do. I will give you guys a DM statement here. Messing with a master in combat is the quickest way to a party wipe. You remind of how the Dagon cult were able to infiltrate the most grand positions throughout Tamriel? He is aware. We will tell him what we found out in exchange for his info. So, how much are you telling him? Alright. We know there is a connection between Hermaeus Mora, vampires, and the moving of ancient texts. Now, what can you tell us?" "I have heard of the moving of texts. I've seen the text being brought in. I'll admit some of that was me, though I'm unaware of this vampiric and Hermaeus Mora connection you mention. I do know one of the experts who was attempting to advance his conjuration. A sketchy person who has been working under the Master of Destruction. During the war, they were both classified as war magics, and conjuration with the loss of Traven fell under her domain. He is shielded, and he looks at your pass. You do not have access to speak with him. However, I think I know how you can get to him. I happen to know where one of his suppliers is. A Red Guard who routinely supplied magical textbooks of the highest caliber from outside the Empire. I also happen to know that he has started to flee the city. What I would like you to do is to go seize this merchant by force if necessary, and we can bring him back here for interrogation. Should you have to kill him, well, then we should be able to find evidence among his belongings. The Master of Destruction has been, Crowleus will continue on, vying for my position. She's never been as talented, but after the war, she seeks to use her war magics to gain power. Sounds like a well-reasoned plan? Off to the merchant, then. Seems a possibility we'd be fighting some cultists again. Metals thanks Crowleus for the lead, and you guys proceed to head forth. On your guys' way out, through the door, you guys will see Priscilla Vita, yet another Cyrodiilic caster. She just, as you guys are heading down, you see her just kind of eye you guys up. But as you continue on, she heads back up into one of the upper levels where spell testing would occur. That said, that is beyond your pass, and you guys continue to head out into the countryside. Oh, yep, out the gate. Countryside! Yay! Cyrodiilic paths, wonderful trees, birches, aspens, oaks, rocks. I prefer not to yap with all these mages. I don't trust any of them, and I'm glad to be gone. We should add this info to the NPC log. I update the NPC log every Wednesday if I feel there's something I need to add. So all of the people you guys have met will all get added sometime between now and Wednesday. I also type in known factions for everyone. So you guys trudge on, and what you guys are able to see as you continue going is that very clearly there are wagon ruts in the road. A wagon rut that appears to be sunk in deeper than you would expect, as if it were carrying a heavy load. Health potion to Dragonborn, Jirta, Jamin, 1 Magicka potion to Stefan, and keep a Magicka potion for myself. Got it. As it gets toward dusk, you guys come across a camp. And sure enough, I wasn't able to find a screenshot of this, so imagine, back here by this tree, that rock right there is that rock is actually a wagon that appears to be filled with shopkeeper's supplies, books, and other materials. Shortly after arriving, you see a Red Guard merchant and 3 mercenary bodyguards just kind of come out and start just eyeing you guys up as they set themselves up between the merchant and you. The head of the mercenaries just quickly says, "Carry on, nothing to see here," while you see the merchant just kind of looking around as if he's looking for something. The party discusses how we want to deal with this. Stealth if not too late for it? Nope, you can enter stealth. You'll need to go ahead and roll it, but go for it. Roll speech to convince the bodyguards to let us through. Rolls an 8, gets a 10. Sadly, even at that level, go ahead and roll speech, Stefan. The bodyguards just kind of shake their head no, and Jirta kind of tries to hide behind some trees and set himself off. Jamin rolls up speech as well. Matthias rolls up speech as well, as does, and Katya joins into the stealth. The guards kind of look, if you want to make camp, there's room for all of us. The guards kind of relax, but still keep their bodies between you guys and the merchant. Can I roll for a quick surprise attack? You are welcome to roll an attack that will initiate combat. Well, specifically, you will get a free move because the way they're doing it is, let me pull up the combat. There we go. Because then that gives us a map. I will sneak around to see what the books. All right, so as there's some hesitation on the exact distance that is acceptable and whether or not an attack is going to happen, you guys are able to see Katya kind of disappear behind a tent, appear behind the merchant, disappear behind the tent, get over to the wagon, at which point you just hear a bell, just like a cowbell, just start ringing. You didn't touch anything, you didn't trip over anything, but it appears that somehow, in some way, you were spotted and an alarm was raised. At which point the guards yell, "Thieves! Bandits! To arms!" And you guys are launched into combat. Next time, listen to the DM Nord! Let's go ahead, and what I'm first going to do is I'm going to hide Ronald as he's not here. That'll keep him outside of range. And we're going to hide the others who aren't here. That way we've got to clear who is here, who isn't. Kim, you are not... Ironically, they are going to be going first in the initiative order. And you are currently not stealthed. Nor is Jirta, as technically they saw both of you. However, you were the one who moved in and triggered the alarm. They had a 10 to their visibility. Alright, so we've got Merc. Oh. We use the $sign for the merchant. Then for you guys, we have Victor, Matthias, Medals, Jirta, Walks, Katya, starting in their retreat lane, to emphasize that you are already behind them, and Zolf. The three mercs kind of, as their shields are up, they reach and grab javelins and just let loose. Oh, there's cat cam blocking? We can move that. We're not going to get rid of it. It's got a cat in it. A cat cam with a cat is a sacred object. And I immediately got rid of it rather than unlocking it. Well, there we go. Sacrilege. Here we go. Kitty cam down here now. So, first javelin is going to be launched at Victor. They are performing a power attack. So, Victor, do what you choose, or defend how you choose to defend. As I find me a d20. Rolls d10. Just very deftly, the javelin was way off mark. You just kind of use a half move just to emphasize that you weren't going to hit him. And the javelin disappears out of sight into the underbrush. The second one lets loose a javelin at Zolf. Power attack. Also, apparently these guys are absolutely terrible with javelins. That would make sense, given that I did not give them tons of range. And yeah, Zolf's defense is he knows that if he holds perfectly still, the javelin will miss him. So he holds perfectly still, looking the merc in the eyes the whole time. The final merc chucks one at Katya. Rolls a power attack. I just use my elven glare. Rolls a 4. Sadly, that is not enough. The javelin grazes the back of your leg, drawing some blood. And does 2 points of damage. The merchant can be seen hurriedly to conjure up what appears to be a one-handed weapon. And that is his turn. A new enemy appears on the scene. Back behind Katya, you guys see that Fatius, our Thieves Guild contact, appears back with her. Oh, Catcam's low. Catcam is not blocking Fatius. And he says, "Ah, mercenaries, I see you've been paid by the wrong side today." And he performs a double attack. You can only defend with a d10 as he is coming out of stealth. Who is he attacking? He's attacking you. He is attempting to take Katya out of the fight. So you're going to need to roll a d10 defense versus his 2 attacks. Rolls a 9. The first attack lands and staggers you. The second attack, even with a... Let's see what your total defense is. Because he has a 14 to hit. And I don't think your defense is a 6. Your defense is a 5. So the second one, you try to get out of the way, and despite staggered, he hits you with the back of the dagger and knocks you out cold. After knocking Katya down, he turns back to the rest of you. Knife at her. Stop fighting. Let's talk. Or I kill her. Victor, your turn. Farkas, why didn't you save me? All 4 of his featses were busy hanging out. He did not have a free featses. It's unfortunate. All 4 of them are dedicated to Candace at the moment. Metals lowers her weapons as if indicating to the party she would wish to talk. Jirta loosening the bow, indicating he would rather talk. Zolf giving the elven stare of death that says, if my eyes could kill you, you would be dead. Zolf agrees. We're protected by respawn. War. Victor just glares and it moves over to Matthias. And Metals, and alright, let us speak, Fatius. We are not allies, though not enemies either. Fatius, sheathing his daggers. Agreed. Might I ask why you would like to kill my good friend here? What has this humble book merchant done to gauge the ire of your patron? There was no intention to kill. The Nord speaks up. But we didn't mind killing these merchants, though. Mercenaries. The mercenaries just kind of glare right back. That humble book merchant seems to have knowledge in the conjuration arts. Fatius shrugs. He is a exotic texts merchant. He's worked with us and he's a friend. I could speech check. Can I speech check to intimidate? You may, yes. Fatius looks at you. Before we discuss what is the wrong side, I'll have you know that he was working with me. He delivered a book. Then we got word that the vampires were going through and cleaning up traces. It appears you were hired when the vampire assassins failed. Think about it. You're doing the job that the last people we defeated did. Metals lowering the weapons further. No more intimidation or tactics. We were sent to speak with the merchant. Fine. We may speak. Fatius sits down right next to Katya's unconscious body. Hakan Sendu nervously kind of steps up between the mercenaries. I am Hakan. I will answer your questions. There's no need for violence here. He slowly gazes at the various members of who up until now he had assumed were a death squad sent to kill him. You've attracted the attention of Clavius. Sorry, forgot his name. That's close enough. At the Arcane University. Hakan chuckles. I would hope so. He's one of my greatest patrons. He looks at you, again, a confused look in his eye. You are to get us closer to the apprentice of conjuration, or the apprentice of the apprentice of the destruction mage. Hakan Sendu, who Sendu you here? I didn't think of that when I made the name. He says that you will be able to help us in this effort. I have done no other business with the university aside with Clavius. It's not Clavius, what's the name? Cralius. There we go. I am uncertain as to how he believes I would be of use to you with Priscilla. He continues to gaze back and forth on the party, meanwhile occasionally just looking back to Fatius, who has a smile on his face and just keeps nodding as if to encourage him and indicate that Fatius has his back should anything go sour. Mayhaps. Jirta, the first one to speak up, says, Callius wanted us to get rid of his own dirty trail. Hakan speaks up to that. There was no dirt about it. I sold him legal texts, text on alteration. There's no ban on alteration magic. I assure you there were no shady dealings. Yes, Fatius is my friend, but it was he who warned me that there might be trouble coming and that I should split town. The point is, we are here now. You know what we seek of you. Our trail will end here, or can we compromise? Haka just kind of shrinks back at what he perceives as a threat and says, I've not attempted to compromise. I've told you what I know. If there's anything specific, I'm more than happy to answer questions. Listen, we've caught wind of a Daedric plot that we think you might have been unknowing upon. We just want to help. What have you sold lately? Any unusual goods? Only one thing. But that one thing was enough to pay for my entire caravan. Calilius, he was looking for a advanced book on alteration. Specifically one dealing with vampires and unlife. A pseudo-magical text, mystical text that focused on the essence of life. It is on a laptop now. Welcome back, Dragonborn. He paid me handsomely for it. The other books that I have, I mean, they're of value, don't get me wrong, but I will be heading north to Skyrim. My intent to set up shop and pawn the wares possibly off at the college up there. They're always in need of various texts, and I believe the texts I have would be of use to them. Nothing Daedric, of course. What you guys would know and what he would reinforce is that conjuring within Hammerfall is extremely frowned upon. And so he would not even be able to legally get legal texts that are legal in Cyrodiil there as they have stamped out the conjuration school as much as possible, as well as the illusion school. But with that said, they do have advanced texts and trainings within the remaining 3 schools: restoration, alteration, and destruction. Phaetus nods in agreement and says, I can back up his story. I helped arrange the deal, and as I said, we were procuring texts ourselves. When one was requested we couldn't, I contacted Hakon and tipped him off on the profit to be had, in exchange for a cut. Hakon nervously begins looking back at you guys. Is there any other question I can help you with? The mercenaries still kind of just grumbling among themselves, but in just shifting back and forth, you just hear the plate metal grinding on plate metal. Have you had any dealings with Priscilla, the Master of Destruction at the university? He shakes his head. None whatsoever. Not that I wouldn't mind being able to sell text to her, but it's not often that I'm graced with bringing text here into the Imperial City. The study of magic here tends to be beyond what I'm able to acquire in Hammerfell. Whispering to the group. So that alteration guy deceived us. Question. Hey, Amanda, let me go refill my water while you guys are thinking this. Have you encountered any pale-skinned, red-eyed, pointy-teeth folk lately? He chuckles. Vampires. No, thankfully. And I don't intend to. You get some water, and I'm going to get an Earth Kitty for Amanda. There you go. Amanda's here. She is.
Hey.
There we go.
Thank you.
Kitty acquired. We shall be gone and return our companion to us and forgive our intrusion. May you walk on warm sands. Phaetus nods, and with a pour of a potion from his belt, Katya, just fur-drenched as he just poured it over her face and wound, so sad, wet kitty look, wakes up and is able to begin staggering with you guys for the return trip. And with that, you are on your way back. Does Kitty need a piggyback ride? Careful, Kitty has claws. While grooming my fur. Exactly what Ernst is, well, kind of what Ernst is doing. He's not head cleaning at the moment. He's paw cleaning. As you guys head back towards Cyrodiil, or toward the Imperial City, it becomes night, and the stars and moon, well, one of the moons, are out in prominence. Upon arriving at the gate, who do we have here with us? One of the guards just kind of motions for you guys to stop. And he just kind of squints. Matthias, is that you? Looking over at the Imperial within your party. Farkas, get down. It is I. Oh, not Phaetus. Flavius mentioned he wanted to see you. He said you would know where. The guard just kind of shrugs, saying that's all he had. With that, you guys are permitted to enter within the Imperial City. Where is it that you guys are headed to? To the Foaming Flask. We definitely should be talking to Flavius, Metals says. As you guys begin going around the appropriate turns. You arrive at the Foaming Flask. Sorry, I didn't want to dark shift this to make it night, so it's night, dark. You guys head straight down into the basement where Flavius is there. Did I not put it? Where Flavius is there. Upon seeing you, Flavius nods. Heard you guys went outside the city. What'd you discover? He shakes his head. No, we don't have contacts within the university. But the guards report when you guys leave the city. So, thought it would be prudent to check up, and I have information for you. Slimy thief, angry merchants. He shrugs. Another day on the job, I guess. What do you have? Matthias asks. So, 2 things. First, Crallius was appointed to the Archmage at an evening ceremony. As such, he is the new Archmage of the Arcane University. Thank you, Lord Master. He is the new Archmage of the Arcane University. That said, there's also been a development. In the upper echelon of the guards, a vampire was outed. 2 guards got into a tussle, and the commander went in to break it up. They knocked off his helmet, and it dang near burned his face off. Then what's really weird is we undergo regular screenings with Detect Life to make sure there's no vampiric infiltration. He passed his most recent screening. His most recent screening was yesterday. Crallius is not to be trusted. He gave us a lead that he had hoped would get us killed. Flavius nods. It seems we've found our culprit. Question is, do we know what he wanted? Or do we know what his desire was? Can you get back up, kitty kitty? You're licking your lips because you just had some food. No, you're gonna scatter. Bye, Farkas. Guess that means we have to zoom in on Urist. It's a requirement. Farkas isn't gonna get back up. The party draws silent, considering these new words. I done forgot what was the reason given. Crallius said he was developing a more powerful version of Detect Life that allowed him to detect Daedra. I just voice lagged all over the place. Woohoo! Should we confront him? He may be far beyond our skill. He nods. He is. Even for the Blades, attempting to interfere with a master of any given school of magic is likely a death sentence for the majority of those involved. Even one so mundane as alteration. What we will need to determine is how we can strike at him. If my theory is correct, and that they are attempting to infiltrate for a overthrow of the Emperor, there may be other angles we can hit. Do you have anyone you can trust within the university? Alteration isn't mundane. Triggered. It is to Flavius when he's seen the university using quote-unquote war magics to summon massive Daedra and throw flame strikes around. To him, alteration isn't what caused the burn on his face. A sword is nothing against a master of alteration. Just wait until he turns his flesh to ebony. Flavius shakes his head. I understand. There's likely little we could do against him. Which is why we need to begin striking at the roots. If we have truly found the head, could we gain allies from within the university, or would that alert too much attention? Well, you will need to go and report to him as he awaits a report. Mayhaps you could convince him that the merchant is killed, or that the merchant escaped, however you would seek to do it. But you will need to come to an understanding with him. Take care, Jamin. We're wrapping up here. This is the end of today's session. We're just setting where you guys are going for the next session, so you're good. If you don't settle with him, then yes, it will be too much danger setting up within the university. Alternatively, if you are able to settle with him, perhaps he could keep you in his employ and lead you to more work, or perhaps you guys would be able to contract out with another one of the masters there. We should have fought and let Kim die. Careful. Careful. That's how the other kitty murders you. The kitty who's not here right now. Take care, Stefan. We'll see you next time. Or around. Or hopefully for the Elder Scrolls Master Series coming up. Flavius indicates that given the fact that the guard has now been infiltrated, he is going to try to put more of the investigation in your hands. He doesn't have any clear next steps for you. They're going to have to be driven on your own. Perhaps the master that was overlooked for the role of Archmage would be interested to aid in our efforts. He kind of just moves his head side to side, not shaking it, but mulling it over. Perhaps that would definitely be something to go with. It's likely she shares no love for him, especially if she views him as using underhanded tactics to acquire the research needed to advance himself. That wouldn't be unheard of for the university, but perhaps with some of the details revealed, she might be able to lend her magical effort to you. So, DM talk. That's what we'll plan for next session. You guys heading back to the Arcane University, you'll have to... If you're heading back to the university, you will need to speak with Crowlius, because he will seek you out. So you'll need to come up with a cover story for that, and then seek to speak with Priscilla as a continuation of your investigation. Are there other plans I'm not aware of? Or things that people are looking to do? It was horrible, because they just incinerated stuff as well. I mean, you could say that the merchant torched their own stuff to prevent it from being seized. That wouldn't be unheard of if they were transporting contraband. But you guys got a week to come up with your story. So no level up? You guys do level up. Every session there's a level up. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a CR insight, a challenge rating insight. The Archmage is something approaching a level 26 character that also has the max rank in Arcane University. So in order to beat that, I would imagine that if everyone were present, you guys would need something in the neighborhood of 6 or 7 more levels to quote-unquote make it a fair fight. And even then, we're looking at some serious damage dealt out, as he may or may not have access... Let me check. I don't remember what he has access to. I built a character sheet for him. Doesn't look like I have it in my recents. Now go in sword swing it easy. Pray to the gods. He's got at least 2 different masteries, if I recall correctly. And I think his other mastery is destruction. 10 versus 1, maybe we win. That's exactly what I'm saying. I lied. He's level 27. And he has mastery in destruction, alteration, and is decked out with magical gear. He will pop up conjurations. It was all a lie. He knows that magic. If you've hit the top level in... Now, he does have points in every single skill. So yes, he knows conjuration and he knows some restoration. And then he has those skills enhanced because he is a max level in the Arcane University. So yeah, poison his tea. Now we're thinking like stealth. But yeah, no. You guys have successfully pegged him as he's kind of the big bad, and you've got to figure out how you're going to deal with him. / why is he the big bad? Because all you know right now is he made a fancy new spell. Poison everything in his room. I have wandered into my bedroom, yet there is a suspicious green liquid all over everything. Yes, I will drink it. That is the best situation here. If that is his, logic, you'll probably win. Set player level 27. No. But to kind of give you guys what you guys are kind of able to do at level 4 is you guys could easily deal with some 2 level 6s. When you guys dealt with the vampire, those were 2 level 6 vampires and 4 level 2 skeletons. So you guys are always going to be able to punch above your weight. Because a lot of those guys I don't quote-unquote optimize, and then they're not equal to you. Threaten to harm upon potatoes, I will murder you. Your character will be dead. And then I will have the enemies use them as zombies. Thou shalt not harm a potato. It's a rule. Hardcore crits to defend? Yes. If you're ever interested, just look up what Mastery and Destruction does for you. Getting past his Detect Life sparkly traps will be a challenge if we're going for stealth. Yep. It's, I don't intend for you guys to fight him, but if you guys come up with a way and you want to, I'm not saying no. You've gotten your warning that there are some things and some people who are well above you. Fatius, you guys could probably take. Maybe. He's definitely... So, he was bluffing with Kim. It is worth remembering that the Thieves Guild doesn't do murder. So, his threatening to kill her was 100% a bluff. And I forgot to mention that because you guys never talked with him. That's why it never came up. You guys talked straight with the merchant. I could take it with my eyes closed. What is Flavius's level by chance? I don't actually have... Oh, do I have Flavius leveled? Let me see. I don't think I have him leveled. No, I don't. I'd probably peg him somewhere around a 15 or a 16. He's relatively high level, but he's not necessarily their best operative, master of what he does. Oh, and you guys do get paid for your mission regardless. So I'll go in and I will update up your guys' token count. Let's see. Jamin gets an extra one because Blades. Dragonborn gets one. Zolf gets one. Jirti gets one. Gotcha. Alright, you guys all have your money now. Oh, now we get a Farkas. Double kitty. Double kitty all the way. But I digress. I did get word that Solano's also going to be playing, which will be nice. That's been our session for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I did as well. What's interesting is the intended is you guys were supposed to talk to Crowlius Divindus, and then Priscilla was supposed to give you the mission. But I didn't anticipate you guys falling for his deception. So that was a thing. That's why she had a whole slide, and it was just like, yep, she stares at you. And we kept going. We're dumb. You know this.